Hello, everybody. Welcome. My name is Professor Jihan Chobanoğlu. I'm the McKibben Endowed Chair Professor and also the Director of M3 Center in the MoMA College of Business at the University of South Florida. M3 Center is part of School of Hospitality and Tourism Management, again at the University of South Florida. And I would like to welcome you to Hospitality Tech Talk series. Today, we have a distinguished guest with me, and I'm going to introduce him in a second. But I would like to just go through very quick housekeeping items for you. You may be watching this from YouTube or Facebook or LinkedIn, wherever that might be. If you have any questions for our guest, please write in the comment box, and I will do my best to be able to bring those questions to him as well. Without further ado, I would like to introduce Mr. R.P. Rama. R.P., welcome. Wonderful to see you here. I would like to just read a short bio of Mr. Rama. Raman P. Rama is the president of Sarana Holdings, a hotel and technology investment company, former partner and executive vice president, chief technology officer, chief information officer of JHM Hotels, Greenville, South Carolina, USA. He also served as the past president of HFTP, Hospitality Financial Technology Professionals, and he's the recipient of 2016 CIO of India in Travel and Hospitality Industry, recipient of the Paragon Award, highest award given by HFTP to hospitality industry leaders for their contributions to the hospitality industry, and he is the recipient of Asian Americans Hotel Owner Association AHOA Family Hotelier of the Year and AHOA Red Lion Hotel Best Technology Innovation Award. Recipient of the Global Most Valued CTO CIO Award from China Hospital Technology Alliance in Hong Kong. And also, he is the recipient of Feelings Most Valued NRI, which stands for Non-Resident Indian, an Indian national who is outside of India from USA Award. He and his brothers are the founders of RO University in India. Again, RP, welcome to our Hospitality Tech Talk.
Thank you, Jihan, for your very humble words. It is humbling experience, and thank you for inviting me to share an evening with you all. I'm very happy that I am in a position to do this using technology from our own homes because of the COVID situation. And if we can imagine and go back, what would we have been doing if we didn't have this technology? How would we be face to face like now if we didn't have this technology? It's brought us closer, and it's kept us together, and it's kept us sane, I would say, rather than us becoming insane.
Exactly.
So thank you, Jihan, for the opportunity.
Of course, RP. You know, you and I go back to maybe, I never counted the years because it makes me feel bad, but I think we are going back to 20 years. From the HFTP, Hospitality Financial and Technology Professionals, High Techs, and other industry conferences that you have attended and I have attended as a faculty member. And I remember you very, very fondly all the time. One of the biggest supporters of hospitality students, hospitality education. Of course, you yourself invested well in education, but our viewers may not know you very well. So I would like to start our conversation together with, please give us an overview. Did R.P. Rama become R.P. Rama like this overnight? What did you go through in a quickly? Please go through us your career, where you are today, please.
Hard times sometimes make you work hard. I was born in Malawi, Africa. I came to India at the age of 10. My parents left me to study in a convent school, living in a boarding without parents, because after they dropped us, they went back to Africa. And from there, I went to another high school in a city called Baroda, which is now called Vadodara, Rosary School, where we had brothers and fathers teaching us. Then I went to MS University, where I did my bachelorate in accounting. After that, I went to State Bank of India to work there in a city called Ahmedabad. I had to resign in 6 months because one of my family members got sick, and it was my moral obligation and duty to take care of that family member. And I resigned and came back home. I still remember that incident where my uncle really got mad at me and said, "Why did you resign from your job that is very hard to come?" And I said, "Well, family comes first." And that was the culture that my father and mother gave us, because they, being in Africa, still had instilled in us the family values. And from there, I went to a convent school where I was a student and became a teacher there while I was waiting for my green card visas. And I was teaching in economics and business administration to 11th and 12th standard students. And I don't know, some of them might be joining in this webinar as well, because they were invited to this session. Once that happened, I got my visas to come to United States, and I came here in June of 1981. The very next day, one of our director of operations said, "RP and DP, let's go." And we go to Kmart, bought us a t-shirt and a corduroy jeans. And next day morning, we were painting 106 doors of my brother's hotel. We started from ground up. And once we did that, we were under a very strict regiment of training. Picked up trash from parking lots, did laundry, cleaned rooms, inspected rooms, worked with engineers, did preventive maintenance, and we got the asset side training very well. Once that happened, we knew what it takes to do and what the guest would expect from us when they rent the room. At the same time, we went through the process so that we would appreciate the staff members working in those departments, of what how hard they worked to make that room a perfect guest stay. So it gives us the sense of humility and appreciation for what they do. And we don't do that enough these days, because we come in at a higher position. We never look back to people who are on the ground. Once I did that, I went into the afternoon shift and learned how to check in people, went to the morning shift, how to check out people, and then went into the night audit process, where we balanced the books of accounts in the night audit process. Then went into the back of the house accounting systems in terms of calculating payroll cards. At that time, we had punch card machines for time clocks, and we were using Micro's 2300 cash register. So we used to have to do night audit manually. Today, you push a button and the night audit is done for you. But there, we used to even find a carry forward balance of a penny on a machine. Otherwise, we would not be able to balance night audit if we picked up a wrong balance. Once we did that, we went into doing payroll, how to pay bills, and whatnot. I came in June. November 23rd, me and my brother were in a car, and we took over a hotel in Hattiesburg, Mississippi. And my other brother, with the second brother, went to Jackson, Mississippi, and took that hotel over. It was 123 rooms, a Nights Inn that was owned by Fairland Litchfield Company. We had plans to convert it into a branded hotel, but the Nights Inn was the grandfathered Nights Inn original, meaning that that time the brand Nights Inn did not exist. We converted that into a Quality Inn, and that was the first initial getting wet with my feet in day-to-day operations. And I did that for about 7.5, 8 years. And then I joined the corporate office in the accounting department. I learned the accounts payable, payroll, journal ledger, doing year-end books, balancing of posting journal entries, creating financial statements, became the controller of the company. At that time, I had a vision of computerizing everything, where I would have a desk at every staff member. So that was in 1991. I went to the high tech show in Baltimore. for shopping for a computer system and a network where I could put that in every desk. Once I did that, I became an accidental CIO CTO because that was hands-on learning, observing the programmers, observing the installers, quizzing them questions, how you do that, how you do that. And they were at first hesitant to do that. But I said, you know what, next time I call you for a problem, I'll pay you your time when we are on the phone, but I'll save you that hour and a half trip to come from your office to my office to fix it. Why don't you train me over the phone how to do things? And that's how I learned the whole systems. And then a lot of opportunity at HFTP in terms of education and whatnot. And I wanted to measure myself. To measure myself, how could I do that? So HFTP had a certification program called Certified Hospitality Technology Professional, CHTP. So I did that for my own satisfaction, measuring myself of how good I am and where I need to improve. It was not to prove to anybody. Being one of the owners of the hotel company, I was not working for somebody. I was working for myself. And to prove myself, if I know enough or I need to polish something somewhere, I sat for the exam and I cleared it. That means I knew stuff of what was required in the hotel industry. After that, I remember an incident in Orlando at the annual conference. Stephen Liberto, I mean, it was high tech. He was doing a refresher course on CHAE, Certified Hospitality Accountant Executive. And my background was accounting, but all these years I was doing IT. So I said, let me sit in there and see if the brass that's up here has tarnished, or is it still shining, or have I retained all that knowledge that I had before? So as soon as the refresher course was over, Stephen Liberto says, RP, see you at 2 o'clock. I said, for what? He says, to sit in the exam. I said, I haven't filled out any forms. I haven't paid the registration fee. I haven't done my prerequisites. He says, I'll see you at 2 o'clock. I said, but how will we do this? He says, we will hold your results. We will not publish them until you pay your fees, you send in your support letters, you send in all the necessary paperwork. HFTP will hold releasing your results. So next day I come home, I send in all that paperwork and the fees and everything. I set for the exam, and Stephen Liberto calls me up and says, RP, what happened? Did you pass the CHAE? I said, no, I flunked. It's because of you. And he says, really? How did you flunk? So I flunked in managerial accounting out of the 5 parts. He says, I've never seen a dummiest accountant like you. I said, Stephen, why do you say that? He says, because managerial accounting is the easiest part. You passed the law, you passed the accounting and all the other sections, and you failed in managerial accounting. That time I come back over the weekends, my friends are calling me to get together, and my wife says, no, he's studying, he's giving exams. He says, at this age, he's giving exam or he's studying? He says, yeah, he's got something on his mind he wants to do. So that following year, we had our annual convention in Vancouver, and I sat for the last part on managerial accounting and cleared that. So it was like, wow, where did I go from an accountant to an IT person, back trying to refresh myself as if that accounting knowledge was still there, and keeping fresh with educational opportunities, never stop learning, continue to learn at every point till your last breath is my goal. Even
Exactly.
today, I do.
Exactly. That's wonderful. So I'm just like showing here what you just mentioned, the certifications. I think CHAE has 5 sections and CHTP has 4 sections. And I also took the CHTP. Actually, I even served as in the committee to write some of the questions. RP, I just want to, our viewers are welcoming you. Many of them, Adam Karmer, Professor. This is how you get lucky. You earn it. Bravo. We also have Katerina Berezina. I'm sure that you know and remember her. So she's welcoming you as well to many other our viewers from different parts of the world. So I would like to From what you have told very shortly, of course, you have over 40 years professional career in this business. I
Jihan,
understand.
Jihan,
Yeah.
Jihan, 40 years of experience and you want me to cover in 5 minutes.
Yes, yes, it's not possible. That's why
Give
we're
me,
gonna.
do some justice to me, you know.
Yes,
I'll have a wonderful one-on-one conversation to give
of
you all the details of the 40 years. This
of
was
course.
just like a trailer of a movie.
You're right, absolutely. That's why we have more questions for you. But I think that what our viewers understand from this is that you are one of the true stories. So you don't become what you are in an overnight, right? You have to work hard. But the other thing is that I think, some people call this American dream, the opportunities, the country of opportunities. But if you work hard, then it's possible that you can make it, right? Do you agree with this statement?
I'll give you an incident and probably you'll be the judge of it. If at 11:30, 11 o'clock I go to sleep and my night auditor is working at the front desk, and about 1:30, 2 o'clock in the morning, he picks up the phone and calls me and says, RP, the hotel is full. And I have four people or four truck drivers that rested 8 hours and have checked out. If you clean those four rooms for me, we can get our occupancy to more than 100% and get revenue for the additional four rooms. Now, my son is newly born. I pick up the phone in a hotel room. I ring the desk phone on the side at the front desk for Mike, who is my night auditor. I hang the mouthpiece in the crib. And that was my first intercom system I invented in IT, where every so often he would hear if my son Sanjay was crying.
Yeah,
And me and my wife were cleaning those rooms. And if in the middle of it, if he cried, my wife immediately would go take care of him while I finished cleaning the remaining rooms. Why did
exactly.
I do that? It's to take care of my customer that at the door. I could have slept and not worried about the revenue, but no, he is tired coming from an highway. He needs a place to rest. And I'm in that business to provide that hospitality. And I need to be able to do that. And that's why I did what I did.
Exactly, exactly. RP, how many hotels do you have under Sarona Hotels right now?
See, what it is we were in a family partnership and we still are. So my
JHM?
share that in these hotels remained intact after I started my own company as Sarona Hotels.
Okay.
Those investments, those earnings, those
How,
they are still active.
how many
And
hotels in
after I branched out of it, we started doing stuff on our own from the resources that we have. And we started to see that we need to diversify. And from that's where we gave birth to technology investments.
Right.
My first investment was in the Wayfair Fund that it was created by members of HFTP to invest in new startups. That was my first investment on the technology side.
Right.
And then I went into a few that I'm not at liberty to discuss right now because they have not gone public,
I
but they'll
see.
pretty well soon go. And I
Right.
don't want to sort of go into it, but there was one that was related to energy management. There was one related to new construction operations and management supervision. There's another one that's like an Amazon of travel and tourism business. There's
Right.
one that is virtual credit card systems. There are quite a few of those that I'm sort of wetting my feet in.
Wonderful. RP, this is a great segue to my next question. And we have some questions from the audience about technology in hospital, but I want to just start very quickly. When you look at the dictionary and open the word hospitality or hotel, it says about warm, smile, welcome, open arms, hospitable. It doesn't have any word, anything that refers to technology. But yet, in JHM Hotels, you were the CIO and CTO. And here in this president of this company, you not only use technology but also even invest in technology companies. So what is the relationship, especially for our viewers who may not understand hospitality and technology relationship well? Why hospitality is such a field that no mention of hospitality, but yet we use it only almost daily basis?
I'll go back to 1983, 84. I was in Jackson, Mississippi, and in my capital budget, I put in an item that I would like to buy an IBM PC. And we were having these meetings with my brothers, the director of operations, and everyone says, "What do you need the PC for?" I said, "To do my work more efficiently." He says, "We have 16 hotels, 16 managers. Nobody has requested a computer, and you are the first one requesting it." I said, "I put it on the capital budget because I feel I can be more efficient, that I can be more analytical, that I can do better in my management decision processes. I can look at and I can monitor my expenses on a regular basis if I enter my invoices in the Lotus spreadsheets and I see where I need to be compared to budget and actual and my forecasting. I would be in a position to do that." Eh, disapproved. I said, "No problem." I continued to do that paperwork. But what technology plays in today's world is to create productivity for the human beings. The human being's productivity comes from technology. The more technology implementation we have, technology is a tool, it's a resource. It's like you asking a housekeeper to vacuum the floor but not give the housekeeper a vacuum cleaner. How does the efficiency work? You give a housekeeper a vacuum cleaner, the floor is going to be clean, it's going to be done fast. That's the role of technology in hotel management. Imagine today what we are doing and how we did business in the early 80s and 60s and 70s. We didn't have technology at that time, but we have become more efficient. We know more about the customer now. The customers know more about our hotels now. And this all because of technology. We are out there. Some person sitting in Timbuktu knows what our hotel looks like, where it's located. Previously, that was not the situation. They would be taking a shot in the dark. How we doing our financials, how we doing our payroll cost analysis, whether a housekeeper took more time cleaning the room, what was their cost per room for my clean room, what is my per room cost when I rent a room. It's like if I am getting an average rate of $100, I have to keep on deducting the amount and say, what is left for the owners to pay the mortgage and the profit per available room? We could not have been able to do that if we didn't have technology. But now, push of a button, we can have cost per occupied room reports.
Exactly. Wonderful. This is a good segue to our next question from Dr. Katerina Berezina. She's asking, COVID-19 increased the need for technology adoption in the industry. How can hoteliers decide which technologies to adopt at this time when the industry is hurting? And I want to add to this question, RP, is that now we see highest level of adoption, right? Restaurants that never used a QR code or mobile payment, a mobile menu or curbside ordering system, or hotels that have never used, let's say, mobile keywords, with your phone, and, RFID-based locks. They are doing this. So, but what do you see about this? What kind of technology should they adopt right now?
You know, if you look at historical data, technology people were betrayed from all budgets at every company, every hotel. Technology was not a priority. What got approved in the budgets? The room furniture, the soft goods, the feel and touch and looks of the hotel. And now what is happened is the flip side of it. Why? Because they say now we have to go touchless because we are all afraid of that virus called COVID-19, and how it's people, if we have to bring them back, we have to have technologies in place that makes it seamless from the point they make the reservation to the time they check out. If they have an option, that is the winner, because they don't want to face somebody with the fear that they might catch COVID or they might give somebody COVID. And that adoption of technology is going at a much faster pace now than ever before. Look at the electronic key system. We've tried that technology and it's been implemented at all the hotels 4 years ago. They started putting that in place. But what happened now because of COVID? The acceleration is gone up, shooting up. That become now high up on the list to do that, so that they don't have to hand those cards to them and they can open the doors uh, with a cell phone or smartphones and whatnot. The QR codes, no menus. Why? Because they are afraid the menus will have germs on it. Sanitization protocols. In the guest rooms, our guest directories, our direction, safety, security issues, TV channels, how to order food, to room service, whatever that may be. That QR code is now working positively. And I have a strong feeling it has, number one, improved accuracy in anything that the guest is requesting, because it's now communicated in writing or some form of a text. Number two, the guest can ask for it at any time they want. We now have a way to track from the point they requested till the point the request was fulfilled. What was the gap? Was that an acceptable recovery of service, or did it take too long? An alert goes out if it's not taken care of to the supervisor that a guest made this request, but it's not taken care of. You need to now step in, and that's where that communication has improved. From that standpoint, let me put it this way. We are all human beings. We have emotions, we have sentiments. We like to hear those words. We like to touch each other, because that's the body to body warmth we used to give in a handshake, right? Sometimes when we are really friendly, we even used to give hugs, right? Because that was the norm. Do we do that now? No. So that human touch element is gone. And now, because COVID is making us do that. Is it going to remain that forever? No, it's not going to be that way forever. But in the meantime, that gap is being filled by the touchless technology that we are implementing. So anything that can make a guest come to our hotel using touchless technology, using their own devices, and being able to get to their room is something that's a winner.
Exactly. And RP, I want to just bring some comments and some additional follow-up questions from our audience. First of all, Sedan Doğan, in addition to what you have said, she wants to add kiosks will also transform. Today, actually, or yesterday, I heard Marriott for the Fairfield hotels, they are now making all self-service breakfast kiosks. I'm sure that you also have seen that. Touchless panels are available now. Hologram control panels are used in elevators. So this is her comment. I'm going to ask you what you think about this, but I want to also bring you here uh, from Research Beans. Faisal Ali is asking, with all the technologies available, don't you think the choice is getting out of guest hand, since the usage is based on compulsive use of technology for guests now? What do you think about that? Are we forcing the guests to use, or do you think it's better to give them an option to use this or that?
I think right now we are forcing them to use, but when the pandemic goes, when we have herd immunity, when we are able to win over COVID, the personal touch is still going to come back, but it's going to be to the extent of, hi, RP, I'm here. I just want you to know I'm checking in. Can we have a 5-minute chat in the lobby? Can we have a cup of coffee together when you are free? And the guest is going to go, but that human touch, feel, now we're going to spend more time with the guest socializing because of the automation that's put in place, which was forced to us by COVID. That investment that we made in it is now going to be an enhancement. It will improve productivity. It would improve the guest experience for those people that like technology. Now, there are some that we should not neglect, our seniors who are very much afraid of using technology. They'll still like that face to face. They still like to do personal things, hand or manual. That is going to continue.
Right.
And we need to be able to serve them as much and as well as we serve those people that are using technology to come, because we are in the business of providing a human guest experience to that person.
Great, RP. Great follow-up question. This is getting very nice. I like it. We have great participation from our audience. So one of our viewers is asking, what do you think about event industry? You just mentioned, RP, that we are in hospitality. So when the pandemic is over, it's going to come back to this. Will it ever come back to what it was before? What is your thoughts about that? Not just check in, check out, eating in a restaurant, but the event. You're in Orlando. I mean, you know this very well. It's the industry in Orlando, the event industry. Will it ever come back even after pandemic is 100% is over?
I will give you what I feel should be a partnership between the hotel, the event manager, and the event promoter. The event promoter needs to promote the event where we can say up front that we are trying to keep everyone safe. Please have your vaccinations before you come to attend the event, or you have an option to attend it virtually. When they come, they probably bring a vaccination passport, and the event manager makes sure that that passport is legit before they book their airline ticket, before they come to the hotel. And after that, it's a smooth sailing, because when they come to the hotel, they go to the registration desk. Oh, this person already has said that they have a vaccine passport. I just need to see the physical, just like you show a driver's license, correct?
Right.
And when that happens, we have a win-win for both, because our goal is not to stop the events but to facilitate.
Right.
And
But
to facilitate, we have to work hand in hand. I went to a wedding in Arizona. So the host sent an email to everybody that's invited. Say, if you have taken both your vaccinations, please bring your vaccine card. We will check it at the registration counter. We will log you in and let you in. Bring your PCR test. If you don't even have that, we're going to do an instant COVID test at the site. And it was a JW Marriott.
interesting.
Now,
Interesting.
500 people. And the event went very smooth. All outdoor events was mask optional, but indoor was compulsory mask. And everybody followed it because they are all loved ones. They are all family. They are all protecting each other from getting sick. And I think we in the industry should promote that all fellow attendees of the conference are colleagues, are collaborators. They are helping it. Why should I put you at risk if we both are going to an HFTP event?
Right. So
I
our
love you. You are my friend. You are my colleague. We've known each other for 20 years. I cannot be careless. I have to be careful myself, and I have to be careful for others. I cannot blame the government. I cannot blame the organizers for it. It's
yeah.
this is getting out of hand.
Yeah, RP, look, I there is a question, a comment from a viewer. I want to just bring that. It actually was my next question, but he asked. He talking about digi tourists, and I think the people who are not going to be able to at their hotels physically. Let me give you an example. Epic Hotel in Miami. If you go to their website, Kimpton Hotels, right? It's part of Kimpton's in Miami downtown. If you go to their website, you see that they actually advertise their meeting rooms as hybrid meeting rooms. So technology ready, right? So they predict that not all meeting guests are going to come back. So those are people, I think Hassan Ali Erdogan here is meaning that digit tourists is those tourists or travelers or meeting attendees who will not be able to come even pandemic is over simply because they're not comfortable. Do you think that this is part of your strategy? Do you make sure that your hotels or the hotels should make all of their facilities hybrid optional?
It should be hybrid, it should be optional. At the same time, at what cost? If the meeting planner himself is bringing his own technology that he is able to facilitate the process, that's less burden to the hotel itself. Because after the hotel is going to transfer that cost to the meeting planner anyways. What would you choose? Give them the option, because they know their clients, they know what part of the world they are in, they know what kind of technology they are used to be using, because there are a lot of platforms out there. And I think the meeting planners can decide what they want. Not that we don't want to provide, not that we cannot provide, but it's why should we invest in something on a permanent basis when we know that it's going to be short lived?
So you
People
think
are
that
still going to like to meet, people are still going to be looking forward to meeting face to face.
okay, so RP, this is important because I don't agree with you with this one. You say that when the pandemic is over, everything is behind us. 1 year later, whatever, that we don't even remember what Corona was, let's say, that you say that the industry is going to go back to where it was. Although I say that regardless of what happens with Corona, that 30 to 40%, that's my estimation of the meeting industry. I'm not talking about just hotels, just the meeting will never come back. Some people are never be able to, or will want to, or will be able to travel. So you don't agree with me. You say that it's going to come back. People are going to want to travel.
Let me preface it in a different way. If you feel that your presence is required at the conference and that you will get more benefit and more business or more networking or more sort of gain out of face to face, then you're going to come. If a person is just doing it to get knowledge, is just to feel and touch and to attend educational sessions and everything, and they don't care about the face to face personal interaction, they're going to
That
be
was
remote.
right, right.
But
Good.
is the meeting attendee going to give me a discount for that registration? If I'm remote, I'm not in face to face, would my my conference fee be $50 and somebody coming to the conference be $200? You know,
Yeah, I
so
understand.
it's that. So now the travel expenses will be based on companies allowing them to go face to face to meet the customers, to do their exhibits, to meet their customers face to face and understand and demo the products, or they're going to say, you're going to do it virtually.
Right, right, exactly. So, RP, this is wonderful. I like it. Let me make sure that I am okay. Two things for you, which is again, I had these questions, but the audience is perfect. So one of them is dirty, dull, dangerous, the 3Ds, tasks in a job description can easily be automated. This is the comment of Sedan. But I'm gonna actually combine this with this question. What are your thoughts about the use of service robots in hospitality industry? Will you use one? What I mean by this, RP, is that, for example, we have one of our master students, Ken Edwards. He has a hotel. He's using Savioki, to be able to deliver shampoo, towels and food. And there is also Philippi, White Castle restaurant chain. Both Philippi, it cooked the burgers and also French fries. What do you think about the adoption of robots in the hospitality industry?
It all depends on availability of labor and what cost. What is
Okay.
the cost of that robot? will you be in a position to generate enough business to recover your cost? Giving you a classic example, if you have a houseman and you have 50 rooms rented, are you going to pay that houseman $15 an hour to sit there all night just so that you are in a position to deliver some services to the room? That will make you say, I need a Savio. I need a room delivery robot so that I can get this to the guest and he not feel that his request was not fulfilled. That is a perfect application for a robot. Is the back of the house operations. If you have somebody that can say, okay, I want you to deliver the sheets, bed, pillow covers, and towels to a housekeeper on the 5th floor so that she doesn't have to come to the laundry to refill her cart. Correct? That's a good
Yeah.
application. And that robot will be implemented in those cases. And I see that adopting more. Let me tell you something. It is very sad that today, when we are having a V-shaped ramp up in the business that has just started to become visible, we are scrambling for staff members. We are not able to find them. And what do we do? Do we hire a robot for that purpose? Yeah, I can hire a robot, but is that robot going to clean my room? No. I still need some people to clean my rooms, my bathrooms, and sanitize them. You cannot use robots just everywhere.
Right. And this is actually what you're getting at, RP, is answering this question. What challenges do you see right now in the industry is as it is getting out of the pandemic? So you're saying that this is a challenge, right? They're finding the people. So we were always concerned as educators, our students couldn't find jobs, they were laid off, including my son. And now you're saying that the reverse is going to happen, the V-shaped comeback.
Our Florida Hotel Restaurant Association president, Carol, was on TV just last week because she got feedback from all of us to do something about staffing. And we are not able to clean those rooms, and there is a demand for rooms, but we can't find people working. And it's nothing against the government providing benefits. Because the government is providing the benefits, the people getting the benefits don't feel they need to work because it's free money. If they can get the same amount of money from the government without working, I would take it too, right? Why? What's wrong with that? Because I've paid into the system through my taxes and the government is paying me. But you know what I would have done if I would be on the advisory council of that people that put the law together that say you will continue to get your benefit so long as you prove and provide proof that you have been continuously looking for jobs, interviewing places, and that you've been rejected at a job. Now that's the right way to do it. And when they continue to receive that benefits, it's a genuine one. And if that is the situation that they say that I went and applied at the XYZ hotel and they didn't hire me, pick up the phone, ask the XYZ hotel manager if they did interview that person and whether they offered the job or declined the job for one or the other reason, and then make them eligible for getting the benefits. Now, would anybody disagree with me with that? It's a procedural matter.
Exactly, exactly. That's interesting what you are saying, RP, that they should have probably thought about that. But I want to go back to that robot question. What your answer is, I think, important because what I understand from your question and also for Adam Karmer's question, he's asking that would you entertain using augmented reality or virtual reality for onboarding or training employees? I think that your answer to the robot question or this question is that it is all about bottom line. If it makes sense, financial sense, I'm going to do it. If it doesn't make sense, So, in other words, there is no wow factor in your decision, right? Because Ken told us that when the Archie was walking in the lobby, guests love him or her. Oh my God, because it's new, it's something. So what you're saying is that this is the wow factor is no longer a decision for me. I need to look at the bottom line. Is that correct
That
statement?
is true. But because because people want to get in and out of the hotel, unless you are a resort. They are already tired coming off the plane. They want to go to the room. What am I going to wow them with? A beer, a drink, and some good food, and
Right.
maybe good television channels in the room. Because next day morning, he has to wake up, have his breakfast, and go back to work. So I would say it depends upon what type of property you have and what kind of clientele you are catering to. If it's augmented reality and if it's a family resort type thing, yeah, it's good to have that in terms of the wow factor for gaming and for the kids to have fun and whatnot. But it is shortly because they are already doing that on their pads. They're already doing that on their phones. How different is it going to be? Is it going to be the same? Or are you going to do something that is out of the box that they would want to come, especially to your hotel to enjoy it?
Yes, yes.
When we were, I saw a question regarding using augmented reality in training.
Yes, that's what I just
So
brought up earlier.
for training purpose, augmented reality is an amazing concept. It's
So,
something that the hotel industry would endorse. But
okay.
again, you are showing them this is how to do it. But you are still going to need somebody behind them to make sure they are doing it in that fashion.
Okay. And I think you already answered this question that Lena is asking. So it depends on the type of the hotel and also type of the situation. So not all technology can be useful for a particular hotel at a particular time. How do you decide what technology you employ in your hotel? I guess that's what you were saying, the type of the hotel, the type of the technology to see that if it will make sense or not. Great.
What if we gave some kind of a survey to our customers that are most repeating customers and
Right.
say, if I implemented this technology, would you use it? How much, how many times would you use it? And do you think that your friends would come and stay at my hotel because I am implementing something you like? Now, that's a fair question to ask. And these customers, they are very, very candid and will tell you like it is. Let's take an example of what you did at University of Delaware. When you created the future room of a hotel, you implemented all new cutting edge technology in the room and you charged the same rate to the customer, but it was a condition that he spends or she spends half an hour with your staff to give feedback on the use of those technologies.
Exactly.
That's what I'm talking about. We
Yes.
cannot go blindly and assume that what I am implementing, my customers are going to like it and they're going to start using it, and I should spend this kind of money. You might be wrong.
Yeah. Yes.
And you might be spending money where you should not spend, or you just hit it wrong.
Exactly.
And for who? For the owners, for the stakeholders, because then it becomes a headache. Once
Exactly.
you implement something, it's not easy to retract back.
Yeah. You know, RP, you probably heard the Hotel Hanna in Japan, who employed robots first time in the world, but it became also the first hotel in the world to fire them. They fired half of the robots because it was too expensive to maintain. I guess it's also an evolution of technology as well too. But we have 10 minutes left and the conversation is going wonderful. I want to make sure that we entertain the comments and the questions of our viewers. So here, Faizan is having a comment. I don't think anything can change permanently, referring to our previous conversation. I think we are in changing revenue earning models with a mix of digital physical model. One such example is sport events happening these days. I agree, we agreed, right? Maybe there will be different new models of profits that hotels may be. I mean, I know that now hotels are serving as the office places for companies, for the
Yes.
remote workers, not just like some non-traditional ways. Sedan is adding, saying that in her opinion, the expectations such as hygiene and sanitation have changed permanently. And
Can I say
many,
something on that?
yeah, please.
The expectations of hygiene and sanitations were there, but they were not visible.
Yes,
Now
invisible.
we want to do it in front of the customer to let him know how we are doing it,
Exactly.
except for the disinfection.
Yes,
That
yes.
is the new addition to the existing sanitization standards that were already in place. It's just that we were doing it in the back of the house. Now we want our man to have his electrostatic sprayer in the lobby and spraying it so that the customer sees it.
Right, right. That's
It's
impressive.
like showing them that we are concerned of their safety and their health, and
Yes,
here's what we're doing it. And previously we were doing it, but we were not talking or showing the guest. Right now we have a seal on the door frame that says this room is sanitized specially for you. I had a guest at my hotel. As soon as the room was given to her, she goes to the room and she sees that the seal was broken. She immediately comes downstairs and said, the seal at my door frame is broken. Think about that. My desk clerk knew what it was, but gave her a new key to a different room. And what it was is the room was cleaned, but only my executive housekeeper is allowed to put that sticker on that room. And
yes,
the guest beat the executive housekeeper on
yes,
that. So
yes,
this kind of now our cautiousness, our expectations from hotels will be more until, I mean, that's the only way to bring the consumer confidence back. That
exactly.
is lacking. That's lacking. The day when a customer is confident and we bring that confidence to travel easily and freely, they'll start traveling. On the events, let me tell you where the problem is. University of Southern Florida says, I'm not going to let Jihan go to a conference in Turkey, even though he has 2 vaccinations. Why? Because if he goes there and if something happens to him, it's a workers' comp. Would a
Right,
company want that liability?
exactly.
So the
Yes,
company is saying your travel is all disapproved until we feel that it is safe for everyone to travel.
totally gain. Yes, RP, I have some questions from my students. I want to get to them, but let me just have this question to you. Um, from Ms. Christina Aquino is asking, will deploying technology reduce hospitality workers? Like robots we were talking about, what options for the supply of graduates from hospital programs? You are one of the founders of our university, which has a hospitality program. So what is your take on this? Do you think the technology is going to take jobs that our students are not going to find jobs anymore?
Not at all. They will become more efficient using that technology. They will use it to their benefit. And that's where I say that technology that is a winner is going to be the one that improves productivity, increases efficiency, and saves cost. These technologies that can contribute to these factors are going to be the winners,
Exactly. Wonderful.
because
And
we are in the human business. We cannot, there is not never going to be a situation where we will replace jobs. It's just that the jobs will be done more efficiently because the customers are going to become more and more demanding as day goes on. Like
Yes.
Gen X, Gen Y generation is more demanding. They're very particular about what they want. They're very particular about which type of hotels they want to stay in, what their expectations are.
Yes, yes, wonderful. And two quick questions from my students that came, and I have to ask that to you. What was the toughest decision you ever took, and what was the outcome of that?
Wow. Wow. I go back to 1983. I was a brown boy on the block in a city that was very conservative in Mississippi. And one morning I was at the desk talking to my desk clerk, and I was going to the office to count my drop in envelopes to get my bank deposit ready, because that used to be my first function, is to have the envelopes ready, put it in the safe so that when it's before 1 o'clock, I have to put it in the bank because it needs to go in the same day's deposit instead of following date, because we had internal controls, checks, and balances for that. And my housekeeper from the housekeeping says, RP, we need to have a meeting. I said, I didn't know about this meeting. It was not scheduled. What happened? He says, we are not cleaning rooms until you get here. I had 123 rooms, peak of summer, National Guard staying in the hotels, and all rooms have to be cleaned. And they say, we are not starting to clean rooms until we talk to you. So I asked my desk clerk, do you know anything about this? He says, no, RP, I don't. So I go down there, and they started complaining I was not paying them enough wages, this and that. Their working conditions were not good, and that we were a quality inn. From a night scene, we converted it, worked very hard to bring it to a quality inn standard, and we don't appreciate what they do. Typical pressure, like a unionized atmosphere. I had my engineer there. I said, what are you doing here? He says, they call me. He says, you made him cut grass even though he had a cut on his palm from moving an air conditioner. So I said, okay, let me finish that first. So I called him. I said, Mike, what is the first question I asked you in the morning? He says, sir, you asked me how my hand was. What was your answer? I said. He says, fine. What was my second question? What were you going to do? I'm going to mow the grass. What did I say? Is it not going to hurt your hand? And what was your answer? No, sir, I'm fine. I said, Mike, you are excused. So he left because it was a housekeeping meeting. And then I said, you know what? I heard everybody. I said, why are you as an assistant housekeeper talking, and why is the executive housekeeper not talking? Oh, she told me to talk on her behalf. I said, does it mean that as an executive housekeeper, she's not capable of doing her work, and that now I need to demote her and promote you? It was just a nicer diplomatic sort of a breaking the tension type question I asked. He says, no, it's just that we've discussed this and they made me a spokesperson. I said, okay. And then I said, what's the first thing? He says, pay scales and benefits. I said, I have my connections in the city. We meet all the general managers. We don't discuss specific pay scales, but we discuss a range based on the survey. And that's how we decide what position gets paid on an average within the city, because we want to be fair and not underpay anyone. Because I don't want to lose you to a competition for 25 cents or 50 cents an hour. I've trained you. I like your job. I like you working for me. We've had this relationship. Why would I want to lose you for that 25 cents? So we do the annual review based on the survey and based on research that is published by the Hotel Association of the state and also the city. They said, no, this and that. I said, you know what? You were wanting this hotel to be a franchised hotel, and you brought it from an independent to a franchise. I said, that's exactly why I come and have to check behind you that it doesn't become an independent again. Because she was complaining why I was going behind her and finding faults. I said, It's not finding faults. I'm doing my job of inspecting 10% of the rooms every day, spot checking, and I'm not looking over you. And if you think that way, how could you miss this? That means
Exactly.
it's not up to the standard that the brands require or me as an owner require. So
Exactly.
I said, you know what? This is not going anywhere. I'm going to stand at the doorway. Anybody leaving this doorway is not allowed to come back. And whoever stays in this room will have their job. Everybody walked out except for three people, my laundry and two housekeepers, because they loved and they knew that they didn't want to be there, but they were forced to be there. They went and sat in a Waffle House in the parking lot, thinking I would call them back. I never did. I picked up the phone. I called the unemployment department. The person that picked up the phone, God sent, he was the one who audited me on the unemployment taxes just a week before that. And if everything was clear, we got into a friendly relationship. He wanted to go on a mission trip to India and was asking questions about it, of safety, food habits, this, that. So we became like friends. I said, this is what happened. He says, RP, I'm faxing it to you. That time we had fax machines. I'm faxing you these applications. Start calling them. And if anybody rejects or don't want to work, you let me know. Fax it back to me, did not accept job, and their unemployment will stop. The people were sitting in the Waffle House. I had three housekeepers that didn't come to work. I called them up and they all came in. I said, how come you are not in the meeting? He says, RP, we didn't want to be there. It was our off day. We told him. I said, can you come help me clean rooms? He said, we are on the way. One of them, I said, do you know anybody on that street that you can trust that can clean rooms in a team with you? He says, yeah, I know. I said, bring him over, but here's the condition. I said, if I don't like their job, I'm going to make you inspect that person's room. If they don't do the work the way you are doing, you are going to fire them, not me. Imagine that. What did I just do? I gave that girl a platform of responsibility. So she brought the best. My wife, my new manager, and his wife in training. I looked at the front desk that whole day. My front desk staff member that was there all went cleaning rooms. They cleaned 123 rooms.
Exactly. That's great.
Next day, they went to claim unemployment. The unemployment department said, you all quit. You are not eligible. Mr. Rama did not fire you. They started working for grocery stores. And then when I used to go to buy groceries, they says, RP, can we come back to work? I said, no, go to that Miss XYZ and tell her to give you a job. I said,
Yeah.
I told you that day. When my corporate office found out, they were very upset. You never do this. I said, no, I'm not going to let anybody ride on me. If I would have given in, it would be history for me that they would do this every time. But I knew I was right. I had a principle. This is not how you conduct a meeting. There has to be a nicer way to communicate, fair and square and trade right. We have to follow the protocols of how meetings are organized and who has to go to who and how, not by threatening. When you threaten, that's not RP.
Yeah. Okay. Wonderful. Thank you. We are already out of time, but I want to ask this last question to you and combine that with another one. Muhitin is asking, thank you for sharing this emerging technology insights. What type of skill set are you looking for your next 5-year hires? And I want to add one of my students' question to this, RP, is that for these students, the jobs that they skill sets, do you think that becoming a member or active in professional organizations like HFTP or AHLA, American Hotel Lodging Association, or AHA, whatever, anything that accepts students is important for them?
I will answer your question first and then I'll go to Muhitin's question and answer his because I'm very, very eager to answer his question. First
Okay.
of all, HFTP and AHNLA are formed to educate the members. And as part of the education of members, we organizations are also looking of future leaders of the industry. And who are the future leaders of the industry? The students. And that is why it is very important for the students to engage with these organizations for three main reasons. Number one, you know people who can help you. You can find mentors. Number two, you are going to be able to network. Number three, you're going to learn from the educational sessions. And even if it is how to organize and host an event, when you look at events, when you experience that, you are learning out of it. The other thing that happens there is giving out that business card of yours and say, can I call you anytime when I have an issue or when I'm confused about a certain thing or I'm working on certain project and I need some real practical, real industry insights for my project or for my knowledge? I mean, who would say no? I don't want to die with the knowledge I have. What good is it going to be? But if I can share that knowledge and if it can make a difference in the life of even one individual, my life is worth living. I want my life to be useful to other people. As the mother has said, let your life be useful, the mother of Pondicherry Ashram. Why you want to waste it by keeping everything here and not sharing it out there? Because the
Exactly.
more you share, the more you gain. At the same time, you are helping somebody who is really in need. If they knew everything, if they didn't need your help, they wouldn't have come to you to begin with. So I hope that answers the participation in HNLA and whatnot. Coming to Mutin's question, 5 years from now, industry is going to look for people who are all rounders. I started with an accounting degree. I did housekeeping, engineering, and learned the whole job of running a hotel. I became a controller of a company. I became a CIO, CTO of the company. I would not have been there if I didn't know all this. When I went to a hotel in Nashville, Tennessee, I experienced an incident where the night auditor just quit. If I didn't know how to run the night audit, I wouldn't have been able to run that shift. But because I knew, I was able to take care of the guest, I was able to do the night audit, I was able to do everything.
Exactly.
That's not something that is expected of you, but what if you have it? You have more chances of getting the job. You have more security of your job. If they lay off people in a specific department, they know that you can also do these other jobs. And so your retention rate will be higher. And that's why I said from the next 5 years, because of uncertainty and whatnot, do what you like most, but at the same time, learn the other ancillary jobs that enhances your existing passion. You have to learn those other jobs so you can appreciate what they do. You can be more compassionate to the housekeepers, to the engineers. You can have a conversation with them if you know about their jobs. Why do we know so much about sports? Because it's an icebreaker. Any place we go, we talk about sports. If we don't know anything about sports, there wouldn't be no icebreaker. So that's the analogy I would like to use to say,
Wonderful.
learn everything that you can, not necessarily just because it's not your profession, you should not learn it. Be an all rounder, have cross training in different departments.
And always keep learning, not just
Yes,
from school, but from organization,
absolutely, absolutely.
anything that you can find. And I want to bring this up one more time because it's important. And RP, it's funny that this is a phase that I also use very often. The more you share, the more you gain. So I want to emphasize this, and thank you one more time for bringing this up as well too. It's always a joy talking to you, RP. I really appreciate your passion for the industry and also our students. I never forget when we came to Atlanta. I don't know if you remember, but that was a HFTP. I brought 15 students in a van, and you gave us the hotel room, um, almost, I think it was free. It was so nice that my students couldn't believe like how you could do that. And because of you that I could bring 15 students. Otherwise, I would never be able to bring. But those students, it's very interesting that when they come to that conference, they met you, they met many other people that some of them actually found jobs through that particular meeting. But I always thank you, but I want to thank you publicly also for all you do, not only for my students, but all students around the world. So,
Now,
RP,
here's what I would say. If you get
yeah,
anything for free from anybody, or if you are even paying for it, always give constructive criticism to the place that you are at for them to improve, for them to be in a position to fix issues that they might not have seen it from a customer standpoint.
exactly,
The other
exactly,
thing that I have had a principle of my life is always be truthful, never be afraid of asking for help. There is no stupid question, always be ethical, and always be responsible.
wonderful. What a nice ending to our conversation, RP. I appreciate you very much, and thank you for sharing your insights and experience with me, my students, and all the viewers here live or from the recording later.
Hey, Jihan, it's an honor, and thank you for giving me that privilege to talk and connect with a lot of people out there. But at the same time, please share my information with the attendees. And if they have any one on one discussion they want to have, I might not have answers to everything. I'm not an expert matter, subject matter for every, but I have connections, I have resources. We have a network through HFTP, through the industry that we've created over the years. Somebody we can make those connections with that might be able to answer your questions. And
Exactly.
if I don't have answers, I can find people who may have those answers or can assist you in anything that you need, because I students are very dear to me. They are very, very dear because I've
Thank
been
you.
a teacher before myself and I know what it is like. So
Yeah,
Jihan, you are so proud of your students. You go out of your way and treat them like your children, as if they are born of you, your biological ways. That's how you treat your students and take care of them, but with a purpose of learning, purpose of
exactly.
doing the right thing in the right manner, in the most ethical, truthful manner.
Exactly. Exactly. Thank you. And I share your LinkedIn page, RP, with our viewers here as well too. But thank you again. I wish you best of luck and hope to see you soon in some part of Florida in physically. So we got our shots and hopefully we'll be able to meet and hug each other.
Thank you. And to everybody, cling to the truth, be safe, remain safe, and keep others safe.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Bye bye.
Thank you everybody who are listening us as well. Wonderful. Have a nice day. Thank you.